Some things just go together. Wine and cheese, flowers in springtime, and yes, books and bottles. We pair your favorite author with your favorite drink. Your host of Books and Bottles, Benita Johnson.
Hi, welcome to Books and Bottles. I'm your host, Benita Johnson, owner of the Vine Wine Club. I am so excited to be here today. I thank you for tuning in, and I invite you to share because you don't want your friends and your loved ones to miss this episode. So Books and Bottles is where we introduce you to your favorite author, and we pair his or her work with your favorite wine or spirit. And so today we have a good friend of mine, jazz legend, Mr. Marcus Johnson, joining us today. And we're going to talk about his book, Flow, For the Love Of. So without further ado, I'm bringing on my friend, Marcus. Hey.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I cannot complain at the end of a long day, but happy to be here.
Hey, we're on this side of the dirt. It's a good day, right?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
It's good to actually talk to you. You know, since this pandemic, we've been texting and I haven't had the opportunity to see you, but you've been busy.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, and it's going well, as it relates to, if being busy for an entrepreneur is a good thing, then stuff is really good. So, we have a lot. We have the wine lots going on. We just launched the aromatherapy component with the candles. And the music is still doing, well, and we're now doing a lot more events. Our Love and Jazz weekend, we just had the meeting with Salamander Resort, so that happens February 11th through 13th. So yeah, looking.
You said February 11th.
You
said that? Oh, because that's my birthday. 11th. I'll be there.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah.
We're gonna talk about this book. So I know everybody knows you're a musician. Folks know about your wines. I don't know if everybody knows that you're an author. So you got so many titles. So you're a dad. You have a law degree. You're a professor. You're a musician. You're a winemaker. You are you say aromatherapy, and you're also an author. You just do it all. What don't you do? Oh, and you cook, because actually the first time how I got connected with you, you were on Twitter talking about men who cook. And I went into your Twitter DMs or whatever, and it's been legendary ever since.
Absolutely. We've done some great things. There's a lot. There's so much I don't do, and sometimes I argue, I work on doing what I do well or better. So it's a constant struggle, but we get it done.
All right. So what inspired you to write Flow? And Flow is for the love of living the journey of life with intention, love, passion, and happiness.
It was a thing where I was going and doing a lot of speeches. I actually had one TED Talk under my belt. And I've been teaching at Howard, Morgan, or not Morgan, but Bowie State. I've been speaking everywhere from Harvard to, world conferences. And people were like, do you have that written down? And then I started, part of just my vibe is I speak from the keyboard pulpit, which is what I call my keyboards on stage. And I think it's very important for artists, if they feel so, to definitely connect with their audience, to let them know that we share a journey together. And part of that journey, even if it's an hour, is for you to see how I can be passionate about what I do. And this is taking care of me. So to take the chance to live life at its fullest, to be engaged in life, because jazz doesn't happen without engagement, and to do it over and over with a life model that you can use to live the cyclical cycle, and we call it going deeper. So all of that stuff put together was like, I got to put this down. And then I had a little girl on the way. So I started writing notes to her in my little books when I would travel to different jazz festivals or different countries. And I'm like, you shouldn't miss out on this. You're not here yet, but you would love where I am right now. And I was like, if I'm doing this, I might as well give her a guide. You never know. I may not be here tomorrow. But my daughter has in the back of my book or in the front of my book, she knows that it is dedicated to her. And if you ask her, why did your daddy write a book? It's to make sure that I had a guide. She's 9 now. I can have a great conversation to know that I would have a guide, and so that he can see how much I loved him and that he has love for everybody out here. So just a little stamp of MJ was here.
I'm glad you said guide because it does kind of read like it's written from one of your other titles that I didn't mention of life coach. It kind of gives us your perspective on a lot of things, but kind of helps us to embrace that and encourages us to be better or to seek this level of happiness that you shed through this book.
So I do it in a paradigm that's called deeper. And it's dream, engage, environment, plan, execute, reflect. Now in the book, it's DEPEL, which is dream, environment, plan, execute, listen, and learn. But I think deeper, it evolved to deeper because it's easier. And I want you to go deeper. I want you to have a dream that's yours. I want you to have a written contract with you, engaging yourself in the journey of you with scope of work when you're going to get there. And I need you to sign it. Then I need you to have positive people, places, things, and ideas in your life. And I need you to be committed to eradicating negative people, places, things, and ideas in your life. I need your plan in and of itself to be in a written form. If it's not in a written form, it's not in a dream. Then I need you to go do it. I need you to reflect upon it. And then I need you to do it again. You have to press repeat. And Benita, the thing is that I don't believe and I know what you meant. You used the term better. You use the term seeking. I use the term engaged because if you're trying to be better, that's, the life journey is always in refinement. You sharpen your saw. Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, says that. But I want you to be engaged in what you want to do. I want you to stop and make sure you're not on somebody else's treadmill. Because a lot of times people are in relationships, they talk about the same things, they have the same hangups, they do it the same way, they don't want to change, and then they wonder, well, why isn't my life going the way I want it to go? Well, maybe if you got engaged in it and you actually looked at your dream, your seed, what you want to grow in the seed you need to grow it, man, you can't grow oak trees if you have tomato seeds. And that's what people are out here doing. They're living from somebody else's life. These damn phones, and social media have people living something that probably doesn't even exist. I'm mad at that picture because I'm not living that way, and that's a fake and it's a farce. And we just saw it play out that couple, and from Florida and on the West Coast tour. Farce. It's fake. Who are you? Stop. Who are you? Stop.
I have to take an active, an intentional break away from the phone, and all of that, because we do get it. It's consuming it, if we allow it to consume us.
But you have to take an active engagement, dive into your life, man. Right? It's not just what your professors say or what a book says here. Okay, now that you read the book, how does this apply to you? People are like, well, I have to do what the book said. No, this is a guide. Here, they're tips. You know what? These are not commandments, right? These are tips. And how do you then take whatever you read, Marcus Johnson's book, the podcast, the music, whatever, who are you and how are you going to do you? Because you are the only person who is responsible for you and the outcomes of the things that happen to you. And if something happens to you by chance that takes you in another way, hurts you physically, mentally, etc., it is up to you to do the work to heal from that and to continue to go on. You have to be actively engaged in this stuff, man. And this is what we're not taught. That's why so many people are mad. because they're victims. But you cannot be engaged in you and be mad.
Right, right. So the other day I was flipping through the book since it's been a while. I've had this book for, I don't know, at least 3 or 4 years. And so I was flipping through and I was dealing with something else. And I always say, you get what you're supposed to have. And so I just opened the book in the middle, right? And the page that I opened it to was 69, and it's for the love of rest and Sabbath. And it starts, it's no coincidence that the word holiday suggests a holy day, or that the longest book in the Torah concerns the Sabbath. If you wish to advance in any sphere, the best way is to take a retreat. And that's by Pico Iyer. And that was like the beginning of that particular chapter. And that resonated because sometimes we have to step away and we got to retreat from the chaos and the madness that's right here in order to recenter and engage in who we are. So that certainly resonated with me 2 days ago when I picked up this book.
Well, let me ask you a question. Did you see the movie Nemo? Finding Nemo?
Yes.
Okay, so, and you may not remember it, but there was a part in time where they were in the Gulf Stream and everybody was in the Gulf Stream going like this, right? Fish going this way, that way, but you could jump out of the Gulf Stream. But I bet you most of the people that saw Nemo didn't really understand how that was metaphorical and what it meant. It meant that everybody's on this jet stream escalator, going one way or the other, conveyor belt of what? Going here, there, everywhere. Not intentional, right? Like, I work hard because I love what I do. I do stuff all over the place because I love what I do. I am engaged in, being Marcus. I just spoke to 150 students at NYU. That's what I do. Am I tired? Yes. Do I owe some time to the family later or tomorrow or this weekend? Absolutely. Do I love what I do? Absolutely. But when I take that rest, it is jumping out of the jet stream, or not jet stream, but the Gulf Stream, like Nemo did. I need to get perspective. I need to get quiet. And remember, Jesus didn't say, come to me with all your this and that and the other, and I'm going to give you a strategy for success. Jesus didn't say, bring me your pain and your this and your that and the other, and I'm going to give you a way to wash this off your back. Jesus said, if you bring me all this stuff, bring it to me and I will give you what? Rest, peace. That is very important for people to understand because we're missing the mark. The goal may not be to be super wealthy and have to manage a ton of different things. Money isn't a bad thing, no doubt. It is connected to God, definitely. But at the same time, if you do it without peace, what do you have?
Right.
Chaos.
Right.
Because that's really the peace.
So what
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. What brings you peace?
It's scales. There are different scales of it, right? So I took a second and I took a deep breath. I can find peace in a moment. Meditation brings me peace. Sitting with my family, brings me peace. Sebastian is right behind me right now, working on paper airplanes and working. Oh, he has a stapler remover now, which he's found. So that's his new toy of the day. But watching him get into origami at 7, right? Put together airplanes. Now, airplanes may be all over the place, but sitting back and watching that, sitting and chilling with Lynn, talking to my mom, watching Chase just be Chase, my daughter, sitting on the back porch, listening to lo-fi music, going to play golf, So what you're hearing is everything that I love to do kind of ends up one part of the day or the other bringing me peace.
Yeah.
Even if it's in the 1 second.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a whole lot of time. And I get that. I feel that, and I've experienced that as well. So let's talk music. Let's talk about Marcus Johnson, the musician. What you been up to?
Wow. So my new single just hit with Everett Harp. It's called The Missing Ingredient. So that did well. Number two most added song in the country yesterday. So tired.
Oh,
I really didn't have. I had so much to do today, man. I'm telling you, I really didn't have time to celebrate it. I'll probably, like I said earlier, I'll probably do that with either a sip of flow or a shot of mezcal. Um, and I put out a track a couple of weeks ago. I did a version of Junior Mafia's "Get Money," and I'm touring. And also, I did the soundtrack for the 5th anniversary of the Smithsonian's Museum of African American History and Culture. That just came out last Friday. So, the MJ sound is all over that. And I'm starting to tour again. Touring. I was supposed to be in Ohio. We postponed it. I am in DC this weekend. Looking forward to doing my first Marcus Johnson go-go set because I was challenged to do that. And they're like, you can't do that. And people are like, well, come on, man, don't take it out on light-skinned folk like that. We know how to get come on, man, don't let the light skin fool you, player.
you don't know nothing about no go-go Ohio.
Okay, you should come to the Carter Barron on Saturday, and we're gonna find out who knows what about what. So we had a rehearsal.
So you were in Richmond 3 years ago today, because I posted that on Facebook too. It's like, a little anniversary thing at the Sippin' Sounds. And you did, with I forgot the band that was, but y'all did some go-go and it was hot. I give it to you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's with a little hesitation. Maybe that's a little hate. You need to take that kind of tone.
It was not hate, whatever.
Okay, Richmond. But anyway, so I've been playing the go-go bands all my life. The first band I played with was Air Raid back in the day when I was like 15 years old. So the lead singer for Rare Essence is a good friend of mine, and he came in a rehearsal today. And he's like, dude, this is fire. Like, people are going to ask us to do more of this. And I'm like, I'm sure they will.
So where is it going to be this weekend? You got text me that because I'm free. I'm
Carter
coming.
Barron, baby. Carter Barron. We're going to be outside the gates because some people in DC, some people want to turn Carter Barron into the extension of the DC Tennis Center. They want it to be like Flushing Meadows, and we want our amphitheater back. So we're working hard to make awareness about that.
Okay. All right. I'm trying to get there. Got some stuff, but I'm gonna see what I can do.
Okay.
All right. All right. So we gotta talk. All right. I gotta tell folks how I saw you. I guess it's been 21 years ago now. You were in Richmond and you were playing. They used to have in the Renaissance. They used to have, these jazz sets, and I remember distinctly. I remember you, and I remember another jazz musician that I've always had a crush on, Norman Brown. Give him my number. But I remembered you, and I know it was 21 years ago because I was carrying my last son, and I just felt in my spirit just watching you perform. I was on the front row watching you perform. I felt like my child was going to be a musician. So my baby's middle name is Marcus, after you. Did you know that? Did I tell you that before?
I didn't know that.
Noah's middle name is Marcus. Yep.
Oh my God. I had no idea. That's awesome.
Yeah, I knew he was gonna be a musician. So Noah Marcus Johnson is his name.
That's cool, right, Sebastian? Her son's middle name is Marcus after me. He's like,
So all right, so we gotta talk wine because that's our connection these days.
Yes.
So Flow Wines. How'd you get into wine, first of all?
Came to the realization that I was not in the music industry. And when I did that, it was pretty easy to kind of convert over. Musicians really are not in the music industry. We're in the lifestyle industry. We are in the therapy industry, really, which is a subset of lifestyle, or lifestyle subset of therapy. So when you look at that, you know how we do it. There's nothing more therapeutic, I would say, than some Mark Johnson music with a Flow candle and some Flow wine in the background, where you have full experiences. And so I was able to put a business plan together, get the company funded, get wine production out of California after, the first iteration. And now we're with a very stable, we have a new joint venture, a very stable wine production partner. And I mean, we have great new bottles here. In the back now, through one of the silver linings of COVID is our QR code and the fact that people are now over the threshold of using them. So for us, um, everything is connected via QR code. Music online has QR codes that take you to the site and landing page that has the wine candles. The candle
Okay.
has a QR code that takes you to the landing page that has the wine and the music. And the wine has the QR code that takes you to pretty much everything, but it has the candles and the music as well. So that you can create these flow experiences by yourself or with someone that you care about, significant others and friends. And then the next step of that is, like I said, the experiences that we're doing, Dinner Sips and Sounds, our Love and Jazz weekend at Salamander Resort. And we're looking at doing many more Dinner Sips and Sounds, probably getting up to 2 a month around the country when we launch the brand in January.
Okay. And so are the candles available now too, or we wait until January for that?
No, the candles are available. Everything is available. These wines actually are available online right now, just not in retail. Yes, you can get them online.
Okay.
Yes, at buyflowwine.com and or marcusjohnson360.com.
So when they come back and ready for retail publicly, I'm going to have them at my shop. I'm going to have them and you back at the exclusive blacklist. I've moved it in June, so I don't have to fight you because it was always coming up on that weekend in February.
Yeah.
So we don't have to fight anymore. We're going back in love again.
I love it. I love it. Someone had hey, on the bottom of your line going across, it says 1906. I guess there's an alpha somewhere in here. Don't hate.
Hard as we try to replace them, we can't. We try to replace them, but we can't.
You can't. Wait, because he's irreplaceable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, I started not to tell them that you were an alpha, but against my better judgment, I shared anyway.
I see it all. Hey, that's how we do things. Hey, it's we are as subtle as a brick. So you gotta love it. It's great.
Well, I've seen some other shows that he produces, and so when alphas are on the show, they get like their own introduction. It's just so much. It's so extra. So I'm sure we're gonna have to deal with that on this show.
I love it. I do. I appreciate that. Good man there.
It was something I wanted to ask you, and I lost it because my train of thought, gets a little crazy.
Well, talking. You got it.
No, I do. I want to talk about the industry. So you said that music, you're not a part of the music industry. It's a lifestyle industry. And so, of course, is the
therapy industry, really. It's the therapy industry.
But is it like that too because I can see it for me, right? Because I'm a lover of music and these things. But is it the same way for you? Because you are the producer of these things. I mean, is it ever, I guess it's not work because you love it.
I love my daughter too, and she gets on my nerves. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's like, I tell people that because people know how much I love Chase. And
sure. And I miss her. That's one of the things about you that I love following you on social media because we saw the interaction. You were so open with your interaction with her in social media, and I do I know with everything we've been dealing with for the last year and a half, we haven't been able to see that, but I certainly miss that.
Miss it too. I miss it too, and we're getting back to a place where we're working it out. I spent time with her last week. Probably will spend some more time. And it is. I'm gonna let you know. I mean, it's been difficult, and I fought. Here I am, a Georgetown lawyer, and what I saw. And can I? Are you gonna? Okay, sorry. What I saw in that courtroom was eye-opening at the best. It was heartbreaking somewhere in the middle, and it was infuriating somewhere down in the side. And you and I would talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that African American men get the props for being engaged. I went to court for joint custody of my daughter, y'all. I paid the money. I am an attorney. I got another great attorney to go in and ran up against this. And I don't think we don't talk about this. That's why I also say I'm an advocate for African American men and young boys because they've been forgotten. And I'll tell you why I know that also. And we've had this conversation. I taught at Howard for 3 years up until like last year. And 90% of my students, were women. And they're like, oh, that's a great thing. It absolutely is a great thing to have that many women in the class. I just want to have, can we get 10 guys in there, not 2?
Yeah. Yeah.
We have this thing. It is something that we have to deal with. And it goes all the way along back into the discussion about industry. And for me, it is a job that I do enjoy. But people say, do your passion and you won't work a day in your life. That's BS. What you do instead is you bring your passion to the things that you actually do. That is your choice. That is your engagement choice. Because if you're looking for passion and you're looking for happiness, you're looking for love and all this stuff in what you do, good luck. And how is that working for you right now?
Yeah.
It ain't. Not it's not. It ain't. That ain't working for you. But I can tell you that if you get engaged in it, man, and you really if you really take the time to understand you have the choice to bring your passion and your love with you wherever you go, that's so empowering. But what we need to do is put the attention, acceptance, allowance, affection, appreciation lights on our young African American men. We have to do
I'm an advocate of that and of men taking their earned roles as fathers. My dad, I just lost my dad a month ago, but back in 1974, when it was unheard of, my father won custody of me, when I was 5 years old. So my dad was a single dad. So, I know the importance of fathers in lives. And, right now, I have a new grandson. He's 3 months old, and I try and coach my daughter, to be fair and to be open. The process right now, it isn't what she expected, but, I'm teaching her that it is important that his dad, y'all got to co-parent, it ain't got to be like this all the time,
But there's so many, early childhood issues, the late issue, and there's the shadow issue. And even when you provide, care and sustenance and guidance for your child, you of all people, in older know that it's a lifelong thing.
Yeah.
And that the other thing that we're just not taught these things in school. I wish instead of learning the War of 1812 every year, that they taught me about how to regulate. Instead of learning the same social studies around Christopher Columbus Day, I wish they taught me coping mechanisms and given me the tools to actually become mindful and present, so that I don't react to things. I don't react to things, but I respond to things.
Yeah.
And these are things that we have to go back and we used to know. And the reason I think Black folk get crazy is because the organized African touch salt of the earth way is in our genes.
Yeah.
It's been messed with in our genes over the past, 400, 500 years. We can acknowledge it, which is the first step in the 12-step program. Then we move on. We need to be very diligent about what we do with young African American men and teaching not just your daughter that she has to co-parent, and that's very important, but saying, hey, guy, this is what you need to do. This is how you need to at least be present. Yeah. This is how you need to love. But we are in third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, maybe ninth generation of inadequate intimacy skills. And this is we talk about this on my podcast, right? And talking about how flow is about talking about everything for the love of you. But in that model, and really understanding that If you weren't given affection, you don't know how to give it.
You don't know
If
how
you
to
weren't
give it right.
if you weren't given attention, you don't know how to give it. If you weren't given allowance to be who you want to be, you don't know how to give it. If you weren't given acceptance of who you are, you don't know how to give it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So, and you weren't appreciated for who you were, you don't know how to give it. And if you think about everything your daughter complains about, or most of us complain about, it's that our significant other isn't giving us one of those things.
Yeah.
Guess what? They never got it. We got
Right.
it already. Got where we got to start.
So before we go, I do have to because I'm going over a little bit, but I'll be forgiven. I do want to I want you to talk about your radio show and I know you got a new podcast. By the time this show
Yes.
airs, it'll be about a month old. So tell us about those real quick.
Radio show is called Catch the Flow, where I play literally jazz, straight and smooth, vocals. We play Brazilian vibe, and the last half hour of the 2 hour show is what we call the lounge set, and that's where we go with Sancho Man and Pete Rock and Kiefer and Anomaly and all these best in lo-fi jazz hop show hot vibes. And we ended with the what's called the flow expression of the flow quote of the week. And out of the flow expression and flow quote of the week, I was talking to a podcaster, and they were like, "How many of those do you have?" I was like, "I have 275 of them." It's like, well, maybe you need to do a podcast, because we were getting a ton of responses, not just on the music, but I was getting requests for like, what book was that you talked about in your flow expression? What was the quote? Where was that from? Can you give me more insight? And I was like, yeah. And by the way, it fits perfectly with the book. It fits perfectly with the wine. It's another great way of, I wanna suck you in so that you can help you out. I can't help you out. All I can be is a guide. But if I can convince you, if I can work and convince you that it's you and that you have the power, and that if you look around and keep yourself around this environment where I'm giving you these things and these nuggets that are investing and seeding in you, and then you let them sit long enough, I already know you're fertile. So when I plant those seeds in you and then they start sprouting, then you go back out there and know what your job is. I have to do the same. And that is a positive cycle that we need to invest in.
I love that. All right. So we got to wrap this up. So, and we could talk all day. And because you are an alpha, I'm sure you're going to get invited back, probably even before I will. So tell folks how to buy your book and how to get the wine and just be connected with all things flow.
Well, you can get the book, wine, podcast, candles, all information is at Marcus Johnson 360. I also ask that you follow me on IG at Marcus Johnson 360. Same thing at Facebook, and we're on Twitter as well. I'm pretty good at answering DMs if you DM me there. The wine is at Flow Wine 360. We have a team that will respond to you. But if you hit me on the Marcus Johnson 360 stuff, I will respond. The radio show is all over the country. You gotta catch your local jazz NPR station. And then the podcast is every Saturday. And it is for the love of you. We are now going into the deeper model: dream, engage, environment, plan, execute, reflect. And, as we continue doing that, we're going to have some guests to come in and have some conversation. And it's only about, so, we do 25 minutes. If we have to do part 1, part 2, you may have to wait a week, but it is worth it. People are really enjoying it. Okay.
I know it is. Marcus, thank you so much for joining me today. It is good to see you, not just to text you. Look forward to you. I'm going to try to catch you this weekend. I'm going to see what I can do. All right. So thank you to our viewers. Thank you so much for tuning in again to another great show. If you're an author and you'd like to be a part of Books and Bottles, hit us up at info@grosprod.com. Again, thank you for viewing. Please share, and we will see you next week on Books and Bottles. Cheers.
Camped out at home for COVID? Join us, Inde TV, where you will see the talk shows, movies, drama, action, and comedy. Be the first and see it first. Sign up now for free at Inde TV.